Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Um, so today I'm going to be going over basically just how Welligent works. Um, explaining what 4 to 6 months of configuring and just learning a new system, trying to condense that down into a really what will look like a six step process. So it's going to get really simple at the very end. I think what I don't want you guys to do is just kind of get overwhelmed, just kind of listening and going through the process. Um, so first, I want to start with Monday. Monday morning in your inbox, you'll have your Welligent login. It'll be your email and a password. And I'll have the link as well on how to get to the Welligent website. And so it will already have a preset password for you, but you'll have to go in and create your own. And I'll have the password criteria. Just because if you have certain characters in your password, when you go to sign your progress notes, an error message will come up. You won't be able to e-sign them. So to bypass all that, I already kind of figured out what things you can't have in your password. And so as far as browser goes, it was recommended to me by Welligent that that Welligent runs best on Google Chrome. Um, the one of the examples that I'm going to show you guys, it'll be on Safari, and every now and then it'll freeze up or kind of lag, and you'll actually get to see that. But and that's also because I have my test user uh, that's being used on Safari, while my other one is logged in on Google Chrome. So you'll get to see both. But Welligent runs best on Google Chrome. And so let me go ahead and share my screen. And so when you first log into Welligent, here's what you'll see first. And I have two screens going, so give me a sec. Let's go ahead. Um, a good rule of thumb: whenever you're in Welligent, try to stay away from refreshing your screen here because it'll completely reset your browser. Um, And so when you first log into Welligent, this is the screen that'll come up. This will have all your alerts, and it'll say your password is okay, but will expire in 44 days. We have a password reset every 60 days, and the system will kind of force you at the end of that 60 days to reset your password. It'll give you just different things on overdue session notes, overdue non-client events. They're all kind of self-explanatory, but they'll give you that notification here. And if you click the icon on the left-hand side, they'll take you right to um, those locations as well. And so the very first thing I wanted to point out would be the client search button at the top. There's many different ways to go through and search for your existing clients. But what I found the best way is this one right here because it never moves and it's always here. So when you click client search, what will pop up, you can fill in the client's last name. And as of right now, I believe the developers are actually downloading all of our clients into our system now. Um, so that'll be done later today because as of right now, we only have just our test client. Her name's Bailey. And she's going to be my example for today. But when you come into the client search bar, you can search through last name and first name. There's more fields that you can pop up, but you shouldn't need more than that. And from here, once you search for a letter or last name, all those corresponding people will pop up. And from here, what you can see is you have an edit icon. This is how you go in and client demographics. There's an info button, um, the alert button. What's cool about this is if, let's say, a client has any allergies or any current medication that they take, when you go in and set up their demographics in the very beginning, once they get into the system, these alert icons will pop up, and if you hover over them, it'll tell you exactly what that is. Like for example, this individual has at least one severe allergy, and this individual also has a life-threatening condition slash health. And I don't know if I said in the beginning, but if you do have any questions, just hold them off until the end, because I think as we go along, some things will start to make more sense. And also, this is the first time you guys are seeing this, so um, don't worry about it. We'll make sure that you're more than capable of coming in and navigating once that time comes. But moving forward, it has the client's last name first and the first name second, the date of birth, the client ID, which is just a way that Welligent actually saves the client within the system. This actually doesn't mean anything. Just it's just a way that the computer registers the client. The type of record, the location that they'll be assigned to, which would be like Contra Costa County or San Mateo County, and the status of the client. Now, clients can either be active or inactive, and the only difference between the two is that inactive clients you cannot perform services for. And so from here, I'm going to go to this edit button, just so you can kind of see how the client demographics are shown. And so again, just to kind of see it just for your eyes, coming back to the client search button. Once you find the client that you want, click the edit pencil, and oh, she's already open. And once the client is open, it'll save like a file, like the folder tab for your client will save in the bar here. So I believe you can have up to five clients open at one time, and the other ones will remain blue, and the current client that you're in will be orange. If we had more clients in the system, I could actually show you what that looked like. But as of right now, we're in Test Bailey. And so from here, there's this hyperlink bar on the left-hand side is called your record navigator. And there's many different things within that. But I think I wanted to point out in the blue bar here, there's actually a client picture. And if you hover over that, just some of the different demographics like date of birth, the site location, and the client code will pop up, including phone number, gender, with more functionality buttons, for reports of, all existing appointments, a share button, a user action, many different things that you can click. It's a really functional screen at this point. But back to the client navigator, you just have to hover your mouse over this gear icon, and all these demographics pop up. So you come down and you click client information, and all these details on client picture, allergies, custom fields, demographics, education, family and contacts, all these different things come up. Something that I've learned to appreciate while using Welligent is there's a lot of stuff that it does that we don't necessarily have a use for. And I think it's not on here because it's one of the things that I turned off. But tracking pregnancies, for example, actually, it's right here. For example, that's not something that we need to take note of, but it is something that's offered. And so just the basic demographics is something that is what we usually take note of. And so this is what the demographic screen will look like. They have their different tabs of your basic demographics, extended, employment and income, health and medical, intake and discharge. And so, but from my, what the process is going to look like for us is majority of this information will be filled out by Tanya. And so Tanya, one of Tanya's main focuses is going to be putting all the clients in the system with all the demographic information. So all the red asterisks, these are already all be filled out because these are the only required ones. And so things like cell phone and email, zip code, address. Tanya would have already gone and put these in here. So this is one thing you won't have to do, but you can see it and edit it if you need to. And there's two more things that I want to show you just for today. And just as I kind of reiterated earlier, um, our process is going to be very simple. We're going to make sure that everybody is uh, up to up to par with navigating the system and being comfortable being able to access other clients. Um, yeah, we're going to make sure all that's taken care of. But yeah, back to the navigation bar. I think one of the useful tabs that will be used pretty often here is the order and case notes. I believe it was this one. So all the current progress notes that have been taken under this client will show up in the order and case notes section. And we'll actually get another chance to see what this looks like on your calendar. So on the other side of the screen, you also have another hyperlink bar. And this has your scheduling tools, my recent clients, communication center, my toolbox, and my actions. And so uh, the first one, which is your scheduling tool, this has, it's basically your schedule. Um, it's different ways to get to your schedule, which we will go to because that's the last thing that we'll go over today. But the most important thing in your scheduling tools is going to be my schedule. If there's two things that I want you to take away from today, is the client search that will always be here. It'll never be hidden. Client search will always be here, and your scheduling tools, being able to get to my schedule. And something else that actually I'll go over when I go through the schedule because it'll make more sense. The my recent clients are any clients that you have had open. Let's say you opened up 15 clients, but again, only 5 will show, and you wanted to get quick access to them just for quick reference or phone number. You would click my recent clients, and all your recent clients would have populated here. And next we have the communication center. And this is where this is basically your email function. So your mailbox, to where you can send and receive emails. Let's close this. Where you can send and receive emails. And know the user does not have to be online in order for them to receive the email. It operates just like a normal email application would. And so you can find the person you want to send an email to. Send one to Dr. Joe. Add to message recipients. Oh, you must send a message before. Oh, message details. Subject. Test. Message. Test. You can send attachments within Welligent too. And the client actually has a upload attachments um, section within the record navigator from earlier as well. And send. So I think, yeah, I would say that the communication center is definitely going to be useful. I think I would also add the more of Welligent interactions and questions that you can keep within Welligent. So if you can keep it within Welligent through uh, the mail function, I would do so as well. In addition to the communication center, at the very bottom right of the screen, you also have a chat function. And so everyone who is live within the system will pop up here in the chat function. But I believe you can also search people by last name, and they will come up in the system, and you can send them a message so that when they come online, they'll receive a message. And so I think the next most important thing would be the scheduling tool. Again, client search and scheduling tools, which is really my schedule. And so from here for the schedule, there's a gear icon where it says "Welcome back," and it'll have your name once you're logged in. And there's a gear icon that I want you to click, and I'll explain why. So here's what the scheduling. Well, let me show you what it would look like before. Um, trying to. There we go. Calendar settings. So the default look for your calendar when you open it up will look like this. It'll be simple. It'll have today from 6 a.m. all the way down to, I believe that's midnight or 11:45. And so for functionality and being able to manage your schedule a little bit better, what I recommend is you come to this gear icon, because I don't think it's defaulting to this. And you would go back to my calendar settings, and then on the default view, click a week. And so you can view your calendar from up to a week at a time. And this is what your schedule will look like once that's changed. So every appointment that you have for Monday, it'll show up here, all right in order with every day of the week. And so once you have your calendar open, when it comes to scheduling clients, this is how easy that it can be. And so this is actually a different browser. This is actually a different user, but still the same test client is showing up. And so when it comes to inputting your clients on your calendar, the easiest way to do it is finding a time block to where you want to start. And so let's say I want to set a 7 a.m. appointment with Bailey. Hold on, let me slow down real quick. I'll find my appointment block, 7 a.m. I'll double click it, and then I'll go to the last name. I'll search for my client. And once I find that client's name, date of birth, and everything is correct, I'll click schedule. I'll find so real quick, when you come to the services screen, the only services that you can only provide services to clients that you're assigned to at the location that you're assigned to. And so you'll see the different services here, which are also the location right under that. And so the only one that I'm authorized for is the Contra Costa Mental Health Service right here, and also the San Mateo Mental Health Service here. And so once I click that, I will select a location, and I will then scroll down to the appointment schedule, and I will select the primary action, what kind of session it will be. And you don't have to do all this once, like on first glance of first putting it on your schedule, but once, because you can come back in and change it. So it's not set in stone. And you also want to change the appointment duration to whatever the appointment type you select. And so when you come back up to the top, the schedule checker is just going to show you what the client has on their schedule from, like if you, let's say you're meeting with somebody twice in one day, it'll show all the reoccurring appointments for that day. And then you're going to click schedule at the top here. And once you click schedule, that's when your progress note is generated. Your progress note is generated through your scheduled appointments. And so from here, if you click the enter notes tab, this is where your SOAP plan, shows up. And when that time comes that you want to sign and complete a note, the first thing that you're going to do is go to enter appointment details, and the status of the note you want to change to complete, and I'll explain why. And then you'll come over to approval signature. And there's 3 different types of signatures, but the one we're going to utilize day in and day out is the e-signature. Um, and so once that's selected, your account name will come up, and then your password, and then you click e-sign. Now, when I click e-sign, it's not going to work for me. It'll say invalid signature because I have a special character that it doesn't recognize in the system. So all I have to do is change my password according to the guidelines that I will send out to you guys when I send out your username and password within the next 24 hours. So you'll have it in your inbox by Monday morning. So this won't happen. And once that's signed, let's go ahead and sign it this way just for note's sake. And so once your document's been signed, it'll save for you. And then you can close that out. And so this is the appointment that we just made from this morning. And so whenever we have an appointment on our schedule and it's showing up as red, there's something that we didn't do to complete our note. So for example, this appointment at 10 is black because everything is complete, just like all these other red appointments. And so we want to go to it. Wait, is that the one that I believe that's the one I just did? If not, no worries. So in order to open it back up, we'll go to it on our schedule. Click it open. Oh, I didn't refresh. That's why. Refresh your calendar. It's always a good thing to do. And you'll come back to the one you just did. If it wants to cooperate. There should be another way to get to it. Give me one sec. Let's go back to use it yesterday. There we go. Okay. And so to open the note back up, once it's complete, you would just double click it and you would get back to the progress note screen or the view and enter appointment details. And a good thing to make sure you do so that everything saves after any editing or changing screens is make sure if there's ever a save button here that you want to click that save button because you don't lose anything by saving something, 2 or 3 times because you can't remember because you got so many things going on in your head. But always utilize that save button because it's going to be your best friend because you don't want to, input a full session's note here and then go to close and forgot and forget to save it. And so once that's complete, actually, let's see if we can figure out why it's red and not black. Right. You have to hit completed here. Enter something in the notes. Test. Hit save. System will notify you that the note was approved on July 16th because it was signed. And the note goes from, the status goes from pending completion to completed. And once it's approved, the approval signature screen will actually change, and the electronic signature module will move down, and the note approval will pop up. And so when you close this, hopefully it'll.
Sometimes you need to refresh it, Paul. Like, it used to do that all the time, to where, yeah, like
Right.
if you refresh the system, and that's one thing with Welligent that would kind of be annoying in the past, where you're like, I completed it. Sometimes you just need to refresh it, and that works. Just, I don't know if that's it, but just in case.
Right. Yeah, that actually is what helps. And remember, refresh here. Don't refresh your browser because it'll reset your entire system and send you back to the default login screen. So the first thing you see when you log in is what it'll take you to if you refresh it here. Make sure you refresh it at the top of the module that you're in. But as you can see, your note went from red to black, and this is a completed note. As you can see, the status says here, service was the duration, the action, and everything else. And so one way that I've actually seen people utilize the calendar is, again, they'll set this to a week view. And since you typically know what your week is going to look like ahead of time, what you can do is, once you come back to the scheduling tool and you click my schedule, when you look at your dates for this week, what you can do is go ahead and put in all your client appointments here. And so once that comes up, or once you have all your clients for, let's say, Monday and Tuesday, and let me go back. You have all your clients up for Monday and Tuesday, and everyone's red. Once you go through all your sessions during the day, and let's say you take your notes all on your computer, or there's a way that you keep them typed up on your computer, you can simply just come into each one of these notes and then just copy and paste your notes from those sessions, from either I believe the day before, right? The session from the day before, and just copy and paste, go through and mark your note as completed. Once the note is complete, sign it, save it, and then get it approved. And once the note is black and it's completed, you have all your notes in there, then everything on your part is taken care of for that particular session. And so something else that I'll send out is, I'm going to type up a how to schedule an appointment, like a step-by-step guide on how to schedule an appointment. And I believe what I'll actually have is screenshots of the system so that you can go through. I might even do it in a PowerPoint format so you can see where in the system where you're supposed to go at, and then go through the checklist of, okay, did I go to my calendar? Okay, I found my client in the system. I added them to this appointment date, selecting a service type, um, and I have my note, I add the notes for today's session. I completed it, signed it, and that one's good to go. And so, yeah, I think, given my time learning Welligent and spending time in it, again, there's a lot that it offers that we necessarily won't use. But even as basic as our process is right now, there's many different ways to do the same exact thing. So I believe there's even like another client search button here. Enter a new client. which is not too far from client search. They almost do the same thing, but there's many different ways to do a lot of the same things in Welligent. And so my desire is to just make it as smooth as possible for everyone, and be on the lookout for those few things coming Monday. Um, your username, password, the password criteria, and the step-by-step guide on how to schedule clients and complete your progress notes. Um,